Welcome to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. Hope you're having a great day. I want to welcome our listeners from the Jackson metro area and the Mississippi Delta, along with the Mississippi Gulf Coast, as we continue to celebrate all the amazing things that happen across this state to make this such a wonderful place to live, work, and play. Look, one of the great things about being from the coast is I get to enjoy the coast and all that the coast has to offer. But also, one of the great things about having a place up in the Mississippi Delta is I get to go to the Mississippi Delta and take in everything there that makes it such a special place. So I love the Mississippi Delta. Don't just hunt there. Love to visit there, enjoy the food there, and just kind of take it all in. And one of the cool things that I've had the opportunity to be involved with over the past few years is the Mockingbird Songwriters Festival that was in Leland. Now, we'll talk a little bit more about Leland here in just a second. But there's some great news. That particular Songwriters Fest is coming together with three other festivals, and it's going to be one heck of a weekend coming up this weekend. And without any further ado, I want to bring my friend Steve Azar, the music and cultural ambassador for the state of Mississippi, the guy who is sort of the brainchild of the Mockingbird Songwriters Festival. He wrote the state song, won Mississippi, and has so many other accolades, as you know if you're a regular listener. He's been on the show many times. But without any further ado, let me bring my friend Steve into the conversation. And first of all, just say, how you doing, my friend?
Gosh, I hate it when time goes by and we don't connect. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Now, where are you sitting right now?
I'm just outside Studio A. I'm in the sort of the sitting area at the Delta Music Institute. I'm working on a record on Drew Pulliam, trying to finish it up as his freshman year here. We put his first album out during his senior year in high school, and transitioning into the summer. And we've been documenting video-wise most of the making of this record. And I've basically got him playing every instrument but bass guitar. And, man, he's coming into his own. It's pretty cool. So we're going to be in Studio B today, and that's occupied right now. And so you've got a bunch of walls. That's all I can give you.
That's great. Hey, listen, we'll come back and mention Drew a little bit at the end of the show if we have a chance. But what a unique sound he has. He's kind of a crooner almost, isn't he?
It's interesting now. He's found himself, and he's a bit like I crack up and I go a little overkill. Like he's really concerned about every single thing. I'm going, you can trust me. And then I realized I was in that place where I found myself, and I'm riding shotgun, and I need to listen to him, because when he wants to re-sing something over that I feel like he's nailed it, I need to let him do it, because he's fast. Some people in the studio are just built to do it. I mean, it's uncanny how fast he is. Tyler Tisdale the same way. Both these guys came along, and they both were prepared to be in the studio. Look, there's one thing when playing live, that's a whole different bird from being prepared to put headphones in the studio and stay in time, but yet give it all the heart and soul it has to have. And so I'm amazed at how both of them were able to do that in a speedy fashion, and it makes my life a little easier as well.
Yeah, I saw where Tyler Tisdale had a concert up in New York recently, up in the city.
Got him a manager in Chicago, so it's going good, and he's it's going to be a one of those journeys for his type of artistry, but he's all in, and he's going to make a career out of it, and I'm really proud of him. We're going to hopefully be working on a second album soon.
Well, listen, Steve, we'll get to all of these deals before it's over with, but In a Mississippi Minute continues to shine. The diverse guests that you have from so many walks of life from across the United States continues to be incredible. You have this Viking show that you're doing in Greenville, essentially the Steve Azar show. And I think you said you're going to do 200 shows in a year.
My guys will be here 200 dates, but we'll be doing probably 30 something with them, and it's going to get 60 plus. But when my guys from Nashville come in, they have to come in because it's a Thursday or Friday show and a Sunday show. They're here most of the week.
Yeah.
So between those 60, once we get to 60, and then I'm sorry, excuse me, guys, and then we have my other. I'm gonna probably still play 35 or 40 on the road, plus do charity events. I feel like I'll be back on the road again, like it was in my heyday.
Yeah,
Great.
it's awesome to have sort of your own residence show. The collaboration with Viking Cruise Line has been fun to watch that kind of evolve. It's been great for Greenville.
Yeah, we're employing a lot of people. I would say 40 something plus businesses, and Viking's been the greatest partner that I've ever worked with on the entertainment side of things. As far as when it comes to our performing, I mean, so you look at Live Nation and folks like that who I've worked with, and they were awesome, but they were built for this big thing. But this is big. This show we're putting on. It's the theater. It's helping preserve this great building that was pre-flood and post-flood, and two parts of it. It's a historical building, E. Bass, which is now the Jake and Frida Stein Hall, and Stein stands for Steinmart, and which is, I guess, to tell that story about there was one Steinmart. It was in Greenville down the street, and this part of this building was in the flood of 27, and then we get to sing the state song for them, and then the children's books in there, and it's funny how the good Lord works. We moved to Mississippi. You never anticipate them showing up. You don't anticipate ever having an opportunity to have the state song of Mississippi, and all of these things have to happen for this show to be really culturally legitimate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't wait for you guys to come see it. It's pretty special, and we're ranked #1 in the world for them by passenger rating of all their. They have almost.
Isn't that neat? That's neat. Yeah. And I'm amazed, and again, we'll come back to it in a little bit, but I'm amazed that Viking has been all in on that deal. It's so awesome to watch.
They're awesome.
Let's get back to the festival. From starting Friday, May 3rd, and then of course Saturday, May 4th. You've got the Mockingbird Songwriters Festival coming together with the Mississippi Wildlife Heritage Festival, the Crawfish Festival, and the Frog Fest, all wrapped up into one. And this mecca of an outdoors arena, Leland, Mississippi. People don't think of Leland being the event capital of the world, but
oh my God. Well, we got Tamale Festival in Greenville, which the USA ranked one of the best food festivals, if not number. I can't remember what the ranking was, but it was up there. It may have been #1 best food festival in the country. So, and that's been going on. I'm pretty sure they're talking 25,000 folks, 30,000 folks. I'm not sure about that number, but it's a lot of people. And then we've got Christmas on Deer Creek, which probably had about 15,000 this year. It might have been more, but I know at the show we had about 8,000 to 10,000 when we had Chapel Hart that night. So you're talking about during the day and people getting to set up all these pop-up shops and the restaurants and and your vendors, food vendors and clothing stores and just anything that's going on that, once again, the arts allow this to happen, and we celebrate who we are, and then people get to prosper from it in that area. In our area, and also we're celebrating who we are, which every nook and cranny of Mississippi has a very unique thing about it that if you take it and celebrate it, they will come, right? You build it, they will come. And now this Wildlife Heritage Festival, it's right up our alley. I know it's up your alley. And the Mississippi Delta Wildlife Heritage Festival is going to stick around with, when you have Frog Fest is obviously Jim Henson and the Muppets. You can't celebrate them enough. I mean, to me, that's the greatest. I mean, that's the most worldwide thing I think I've ever thought. I mean, anytime when I'm around the world, people go, the Muppets, the Muppets. I say, yeah. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Yeah. Elvis. Yes. B.B. King. Yes. So it's amazing. But yeah, this festival is going to be fun. All my friends from Music City love to come down, and we're going to mix it in with some music as well, bands and stuff. It's going to be a little bit more active than just the songwriter part, but I've definitely got 4 great songwriter sessions with 12 guys. It's going to be great.
Well, way you talked about it on Gerard's show, you said that this is Visit Mississippi on steroids. It is, yeah. Isn't it?
It really is. You and me have talked about this. I never thought through these things, how this worked out. And working with C. Ray all those years at Visit Mississippi and understanding just the sheer passion behind it, but yet it's calculated. You know what I mean? You can almost put it on a spreadsheet, which I'm no good at looking at. That's why I'm married to Gwen. But I'm a list guy. But you could do it, and it makes all the sense in the world how that works out. Now, you need weather, you need things to work out for you in your favor, and not other festivals going on around at the same time. But I think it's in a really good spot. You've seen us, and I felt like the Mockingbird, with so much going on in the spring, could have hit a wall. And I felt a wall coming, and last year we did it during Juke Joint Fest by accident. I mean, I made that mistake, not paying attention because I was busy. And I've always gotten on to everybody about, can everybody please check calendars to make sure we don't step on each other's toes? And I was guilty last year of it. So, you can't compete with that big blues festival in Juke Joint in Clarksdale. So now we've got things sort of figured out, I think. And with the only thing going on, except the 6-man golf tournament in Greenville at our country club, they stuck that on top of us. So,
hey, listen, we're gonna do this. So when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about this. Really, 4 festivals in one coming up this weekend, and then we're gonna shift gears and see what else is going on in Steve's life this day. To get the sense that there's a lot of things coming from a bunch of different angles. We'll see you after this with Steve Azar. Well, when you can mix a little bit of, music songwriters, songs, and other music, a little bit of Jim Henson with some crawfish and some wildlife heritage. I mean, people want to go. They want to go and have a diverse experience. And this is going to be that, isn't it?
Yeah. Hey, Ricky, I wish that I could go into this whole wildlife thing. We got this big fish tanks coming, and I mean, there's a lot going on. It's crazy. But you can go to the website, just Google Mississippi Delta Wildlife Heritage Festival, and you'll see all these other festivals under this umbrella. But yeah, it's going to be a whole lot for kids and adults. I mean, it's going to be a mixed bag there, and where else can you do it? You're the king of Mississippi radio when it comes to the wildlife and the outdoors. You have the best show there is in our state, probably in the country. And so you understand it even more so than me. But I can tell you, all my songwriter buddies, when they found out this was happening, they're like, "Oh, there's going to be a lot more for us to do." They're excited, about to come and check it out and be a part of all of the hoopla.
So we're visiting with the music and cultural ambassador for the state of Mississippi, Steve Azar. He's literally coming to us from a recording studio. He's actually working with one of the people that he's been working with for a while, Drew Pullian. You got to look him up, incidentally. You'll be glad you did. But this wonderful festival that's coming up this weekend, the combination of these 4 events. I mean, this is, if you want something to do, great drive, easy drive from Jackson, for example, to Leland, or if you're in the Mississippi Delta and you're looking for a place to go, I think this is going to be a good one. What's the weather looking like? I haven't checked it yet.
The weather was never bad. When I played thousands of shows, I remember 1 or 2 times we might have got rained out in thousands. But ever since I started getting on this side of it and being a part of festivals, rain seems to find me. I don't understand. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. Look, one year, Ricky, we decided to get rain insurance. And so, because the first year of the Mighty Mississippi Music Festival, it was crazy. So Dina Carter and I were doing a show together. North Mississippi All-Stars were up next. Cedric Burnside was playing in the rain. And Gina looked at me and she said, "I think I want some of that. I want some of that rain." And I said, "You're as crazy as I am." And she goes, I go, "I'll go." Lightning was striking. It was ridiculous. We should have all died that night. I mean, that was the time you die on stage. And it was really stupid for us to be out there. But, we love what we do, and we think we're invincible at some point when it comes to being on stage and making our music. But, man, there's something about so we got rain insurance. It was thousands of dollars, and it had to happen. The rain had to happen in a window of time. I love it. I got a lot of friends who sell me insurance. Yeah.
So, Steve, I remember one year, the Mockingbird Songwriters Festival, it was cold.
Yeah. Freezing.
Really, really cold.
Yeah. Well, this year it's going to be 86 degrees on Saturday. So it's going to be the opposite, but it should be a good thing. We're taking the whole VIP concept, got Chef David Cruz coming in and cooking up a bunch of wildlife food, a bunch of elk and venison and whatever. I've seen all sorts of duck and all this stuff. So he's going to be creating great recipes with that in the VIP tent from a lot of our friends who have gone out and had a successful hunting season, so
Yeah.
it'll be good and fresh. And so he's going to do that. But the VIP tent's going to be really stepped up. And we moved it from the Zappone's farm, the Gin at Dunleith, to downtown Leland because it's free now to the public except for the VIP experience. There's a few other things you can pay for, but when it comes to the wildlife part of it, but as far as the whole festival in general, this is going to be able to draw numbers now.
Well, what's interesting, because of your long songwriting career, you've developed all these great relationships. Of course, in a Mississippi Minute gives you a chance to stay in touch with so many of these people. But when you think about Win Varble or James House or any number of others, you've got some great relationships, don't you?
I do. Man, it's been such a blessing to not only have them as friends, but the radio show itself has opened the door to some guys that I didn't know. We'd see each other, we'd say hello, but we ran in different circles, right? But there was always one person that connected us to each other, right? Always one songwriter. And that is, and I love the fact that I get to be with these guys. We've become dear friends. Some of us have made up for probably 20 years of not being friends, and we feel like we've known each other since we were 8. First of all, when you open up as a songwriter, Ricky, you bear it all. You're very vulnerable in a room. So you have to be prepared to go in and meet somebody. And then all of a sudden it has to be a relationship that when you're doing a song that it's a very intimate situation to be in. Right.
Yeah.
And there's nothing tough about it. Right. There's nothing. Yeah. So at the same time you go in there, but you're going in with a bunch of tough guys, but who are capable of being that vulnerable. A guy like Wynn and Jim Moose Brown and James House. And I mean, these guys are, it's a glory to be in the room with such brilliance. And I have seen it. I have watched it. And sometimes I feel pretty small in a room with certain people. And it's amazing just the talent that they have. And also they come from small beginnings. A lot of them are farms where they worked hard and that's what they know. And they were on farms growing up or hunting where you could have a wild imagination and all these things that you have an opportunity to dream up in smaller places or in environments like going hunting and fishing and all that. And I think that opens your mind up to creativity. And obviously with these guys. So this is a great fit for the Mockingbird Hitmakers.
Hey, what blew my mind the first year I came, because I didn't know what to expect, was first of all, well, I guess the most important thing, first of all, was how many songs I recognize. I mean, literally almost every song I recognize. These are writers of hit songs. And then the stories behind the songs. That was the coolest part of it. That's what really makes it work so wonderfully, is you get to hear it from the guy who wrote the song, where he was and what he was thinking at the time. And, and then, of course, then they do the song and you go, good Lord. I mean, the hits that these guys have been involved in is truly remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, it gets a little bit upsetting to me sometimes to see like what the heck happened. Like a lot of our songwriter pals get on rolls, right? I've always written what I've recorded, and I've had people record my songs, but I never wanted that journey. That did not interest me. Now it's cool when it happens, right? I've had Reba McEntire and Susie McEntire record one of my songs called Big Blue Sky. Susie did the Christian version, her sister, contemporary Christian version, and then Reba did the pop, her country pop version. And you just, it's a great feeling to have folks care about your songs. With me, it's me caring about my songs because it's what I do. With them, they have to find somebody that cares about what they're saying. Right?
Yeah.
So they're in that business alone. But when they get a chance to perform it, you feel like you're in the room with them. And they never forget that moment of inspiration because it probably saved their life. One of those songs saved their life, and they let you know it. And then one next song keeps things going. And there's a story behind every one of them. And like my radio show has opened the door. I just interviewed Buddy Cannon's daughter, Marla Goodman Cannon. And she's written a bunch of hits. Buddy Cannon's produced all the Kenny Chesney. And we talked about Kenny's ability to find a song. And he's been really good because he doesn't write songs. He didn't have time to write songs. He did earlier on in his career, but now he's Kenny Chesney. So he just wants to be at St. John's or on the beach somewhere and get to go sing for hundreds of thousands of people because he can. But he's singing songs because he chose the best ones for his career. And I've had a lot of friends who've had a bunch of number ones on Kenny.
I heard a conversation with Kenny Chesney one day, and he was telling the story. He was somewhere in the Northeast, and he just had a wild hair that he wanted to eat some key lime pie. So they flew down to Key West to eat a key lime pie, and then flew back up to wherever they were.
Well, because he can. Yeah, that's funny.
So where do you go in your jet?
Yeah, well, I've had a bunch of jets pick me up at different stages. I've done the private thing quite a bit over my life because I had to get from point A to point B. But there's no jet. I love the tour bus, but then the tour bus kept me from my kids.
Yeah.
Back to Mississippi. I did do one day. I did the Wheel of Fortune with me and Trisha Yearwood, the Celebrity Wheel of Fortune in South Carolina. And Trisha Yearwood and Eddie Montgomery and me and the girl, we had partners, and the girl at South Carolina, we killed everybody. I mean, this girl won $25,000 or $20,000, whatever it was. She won a bunch of money, a trip to Amsterdam. We won it for our foundation. And then I had to get on the jet and get back to Tampa because I was with Bob Seger. So, and literally there was like 2 hours between the gap. So you couldn't have done it any other way but private.
Does that feel? I just got to feel like another life. It's amazing. We go through these chapters in our lives. That's been my case. And you shut the chapter, and you wonder what's that next chapter going to be, and that next chapter always comes, and it always comes in amazing ways, especially if you're open to it and you just kind of let it go wherever it's going to go. It's amazing what happens.
Yeah, that's amazing how you put that. That's it.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well, listen, when we come back on the other side, we'll continue our conversation with our friend Steve Azar, the music and cultural ambassador for the state of Mississippi. We'll see you after this. Welcome back to the Ricky Matthews Show. I have my dear friend, and I do mean dear friend. We've gotten to know each other really well over the last few years as a result of our shows on SuperTalk and our love of Mississippi and the opportunity we had to celebrate Mississippi and share the great stories that are part of our shows. I just love doing it, Steve. I really do. Steve, it is if someone really wants to kind of get a feel for what you're up to, I would strongly recommend them going over to X, formerly Twitter, and following you on X, because you get to see a wide variety of stuff that you're involved in. Certainly a lot about your shows and the kind of interesting guests that you have on your show in a Mississippi Minute. But inevitably, how One Mississippi, the new state song, how One Mississippi is touching you. I mean, it's touching schools and kids and this state in so many special ways. But, it just seems like every few weeks you're going to get an opportunity to post a video of some kids in an auditorium somewhere singing One Mississippi. And that's got to be just surreal every time you hear that.
It's remarkable. They're singing every word. I mean, St. Aloysius in Vicksburg, who, by the way, was my arch rival at St. Joe when growing up, right? They even stole our favorite priest, Father Lawler. So if they're listening right now, anybody from Vicksburg knows. Actually, I'm a fan of that school as well. Once you get out of competitive mode, you realize a lot of really good people there. And I've made a lot of friends from there over my years past high school. Man, they nailed it. It was so sweet. And I'm going, I get videos like this. They're multiple times a week now. So sometimes I can't see it enough. I post every once in a while. I want to post to everybody, but I'm at a point now between the children's book with Sarah Frances Hardy and the song, we could literally put together no telling how many new music videos of all these wonderful people singing it, kids singing it. And this was Phil Bryant, Governor Bryant, when he asked me to write the state's bicentennial song, which is this song, in 2016 for 17, he said point blank, it has to be something children will want to sing. And that's where the inspiration came for the chorus immediately. So, so the whole point is, that thought process in his mind has come true. And I am seeing it firsthand. And it is the most grateful, will never be more humbled, and I'm reminded of how grateful I am and how humbled I am and moved every time someone or a school sends me that. Like today, I posted it from St. Al, and I'm just going like, "Are you kidding me? There is no song. I will never do anything greater than this. I've got a song coming out in June on Alice Cooper, this record called Rock for Children, which we're donating the money. And it's He Did No More Mr. Mean Guy rather than No More Mr. Nice Guy. Judas Priest lead singer. Everybody's got these takes, and I'm the only ballad on the record. And I wrote this song for a children's hospital many years ago. Well, a few years ago, called Sanford's Children's Hospital. That is literally a castle. It's shaped like a castle. And I built the song, and I even have the kids in the hospital singing with me on the record. And I feel like it's Beth on a Kiss record or it's the band Extreme had one ballad more than words. And otherwise it was like a crazy rock record. And I'm the one sole ballad on this record, and they're going to put it out in June. And that's awesome because those are the things that keep coming in the weirdest ways, and I love doing that. But there will be no song. There will be nothing that will ever matter to me and my family and my legacy more than One Mississippi. And I'm forever grateful. Well, I'm not stopping. I'm rolling. I'm going to go into every school I can.
I think it's awesome that you're doing that. You and I joked about this before, but you feel a little bye bye Miss American Pie. So it's a 5-minute song. I mean, and the kids know all the words. It's incredible, isn't it?
It's long, but they sing every word to it. And I love it when I'm not there and they're singing it. I'm not with them. But a great example this year was we were announcing the Christmas thing for Governor Reeves, and the First Lady was there, and everybody was out there. And we had 6 different schools represented, right? And these schools, all the kids came in, and we were on the steps, and I was sick. I was really sick. The sickest I've been in a long time. And there was no microphone, no nothing. And I could see Governor Reeves walk up and with every kid singing every word. And I think he went, okay, this is awesome. So that was a great moment to me for the song. And he tweeted it out or X'd it, we're calling it X now. And he was so proud of that moment. And for me to see him that proud, it meant so much to me, because that was a great moment for Mississippi. And when you see a diverse group of children coming from all walks together singing one song, and it's that's game time. And I feel like we as Mississippians have something no other state has now.
Yeah, listen, buddy, it's a generational song, and the book, the children's book, is a generational book. And what I mean when I say that, and maybe I've mentioned this to you before, but you think about Disney. And Disney, every generation is fresh. It's new. Every generation that comes along. And this is going to be the same way. And for people who really want to understand the song and the words of the song, I think the way the book was illustrated was so extraordinarily well done, because it gives you a sense to hear what is so amazing about Mississippi. And that's the message that's being sent. And, well, she did a great job, didn't she?
Ooh, gosh. Well, we got a whole curriculum built around it now, or at least the teacher's guide. William Carey College has gotten involved, and Sarah Francis has been hands-on. And these sweet little characters. Hey, she sent for Christmas. I got all the 7 kids. They're just in One Mississippi. They're framed. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Say One Mississippi. You don't have to, because it's just these sweet 7 kids. I don't even understand that part of creativity in the mind. I can't draw a stick man. I can't draw. I'm not good at that. And for her to not only do that, but yet create something that's never been created, these beings that look like I know these kids, I just don't even understand where that part of the artistic ability comes from. And I'm in awe. She's been a great partner. Neil White's been a great partner. And I'll never forget Speaker Gunn and Philip and Becky Curry and all, writing this bill, and then having Senator Simmons and, just a lot of my people that I look up to in the legislature who fought for it, and Nicole Boyd. And there's just been so many people that had to step up and do a little fighting for us. But I can honestly say they were right. And I'm not gonna let any of them down. I refuse to slow down, because I want them all to know that it matters that much to me. And if I didn't see how it's affecting people, I'd go, okay, but it's really making a difference for all of us, and it's a great moment. Music is the one unifying thing that always brings people together. People turn to music in all sorts of emotional times. Yeah. So, and we are the birthplace of it all, right?
We are the birthplace of American music. Listen, you think about the need to change the state flag because of what it had become, the symbol that it had become, and you think about the state song that we had and the history behind it. Boy, it was time to change. It was time to change gears.
We're a big part of this. Our team, you helped guide me through a lot of this stuff. This the whole process of it, and you were a big help for me. I can tell you through all this process. I'm repeating myself because I'm still emotional about this that has happened. And I get but I think about your career. Let's flip it a little bit. I like to flip it because you flip it on my show when I have you on. I mean, I think about everything that you accomplished, and you talk about this chapter. You close that chapter, and now look what you're doing now. Your voice is as strong or stronger than it's ever been because it's backed with all of this knowledge and all the things you did in the past. And when I listen to you do your show, which I listen a lot, by the way, when I listen, I get this sense of extreme preparedness and intelligence that I do not have. And because I just feel like that you're so studied and you read so much because it's where you came from, right? News and what's really happening. But your perspective on things, we think a whole lot alike. Yeah. And your perspective to me is common sense. I always get some sort of really realistic common sense from everything that you say.
Well, I appreciate everything you said. The truth is, I am in a unique position because I am retired, and I've done this show in SuperTalk Outdoors, this one for over 4 years, SuperTalk Outdoors for over 2 years. I bring an independent voice. And listen, here's the thing. I don't bring the voice to just use it whenever I want to. I'm very selective on when I want to latch onto something that's important. I've done it more recently on Outdoors in a very important way. But when you have an independent voice, Steve, you're able to say what others may not be willing or can't say because of political connections or whatever. And my goal is not to ramrod. My goal is to get the focus back away from special interests and back on conservation and Mississippi's wildlife legacy as it relates to the outdoor show. And I am so lucky that my years in media news intersects with my love of community and my love of the outdoors. I'm just lucky in that way.
Well, I get that. I know we got to take a break probably. I love it. We'll take a break. No, but it's just you're studied and you understand it all. So you've got a lot behind your words.
Yeah.
You're not, right?
Yeah, I'm not fly by night. If I get locked onto something, you better pay attention because I've done my homework. Hey, when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Steve Azar. We'll see you after this. Welcome back to the Ricky Matthews Show. I have my friend Steve Azar, the music and cultural ambassador for the state of Mississippi. He started this Mockingbird Songwriters Festival in Leland that I've had the opportunity to go. It's an outstanding event. But now it's coming together with 3 other festivals this weekend in downtown Leland. So if you don't have plans, I would really encourage you to go. It's a combination of these 4 festivals in one. And ought to be just an absolutely incredible weekend starting on Friday. Okay, so let's go back for a second to this relationship you have with Viking Cruise Lines. I am just amazed that whoever it is in that company that had the vision and were willing to make the investment and bring it, because they could bring people onto the ship, and that would probably be fine. But what they wanted is bring people into the community, into Greenville, and they've asked you and your songwriter, or excuse me, your musical friends have put together this incredible show, and it's bringing people into the city and the economic impact of that, the opportunity to do it. But it's a big investment, and someone inside Viking gets it.
Well, his name's Joost. He's out in Switzerland. And he was very open to us creating, and he listened a lot, I think originally people think that we're blues and barbecue, and we're not. We're there's so much more to. We are, but we're not. That's one of many things that we are. So I said, okay, I've done a lot of things that's worked and a lot of things that haven't. So you can take the stuff that's worked, and you got a little bit of a recipe for the opportunity for success. Everything that we've done in the past had to happen for this show to be what it is. It's funny. I had an old manager reach out, and he goes, old attorney who's on the Viking Cruise Line mailing list in New York, and he goes, because they call it Steve Azar's Mississippi, and that's what they named it. In fact, Yost, one of the top guys from Switzerland, named it that. And so after he came and saw it, so anyway, let me send this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can still hear you. It's okay. Go ahead. Just keep going.
Okay. So anyway. They're just amazing to work with, and they are all about history and culture. They I've seen the owner on NBC talk about it one time, and I said, oh my God, he walked right into the thing that we do so well. And so it's a perfect marriage of preparation and meets opportunity. And when it did, it made sense. I could not have been and done this show for them with the success I'm having when I was in Nashville. I had to come home, I had to go all into Mississippi. Everything had to happen, and that is why it's working.
Hey, listen, I've been on one cruise. I think probably everyone needs to do it once. And what I remember is a lot of eating and kind of cookie cutter approach. And I haven't been on a cruise since. But look, let me be honest. I'm not the cruise target because I'm a caged animal when I'm on a cruise.
If everybody would just look at some of your posts, what you're looking at every morning. I mean, you're looking at,
yeah, I live in a cruise,
You live on a cruise.
But here's the point I want to make about Viking. So when you think about cruise lines, you do think about sort of cookie cutter, lots of people coming in and out and so on. Good experiences for people who enjoy that. What's interesting about Vikings, they didn't want to take a cookie cutter approach, man. It is truly a cultural experience that they're creating. So they've devised something that creates for them competitive advantage, and they're all in on it. And I love to see that story.
There's no other cruise company in the world. This is what they founded themselves on. They are all about that history and culture, and they want their people cultured every step of the way. And so you think about going from New Orleans to Memphis, that's a lot of opportunities to, it's culture all over the place, history, so much. And there's so much different types of history. So, if you go to Vicksburg, you're going to get that. If you go to Memphis, you're going to get that. If you go to New Orleans, so I don't have to explain. Everybody knows from Mississippi what I'm talking about. So at the end of the day, these river towns, it's been big for all of us. And along the way, and even the long haul to Minneapolis. And then they're soon to work on a second ship. So there's such a demand. And listen, I was at the Caddyshack with the Murray brothers about to get on stage the other day. And a retired orthopedic surgeon named Joe Rice. He looked just like Henry Winkler, like now. And I thought it was Henry Winkler. I said, the Murray brothers, Bill knows Henry. But it was a guy that was on our cruise just recently, him and his wife, and they were just raving. And then we were at Monday after the Masters, and somebody from the gallery who were playing golf goes, oh, my God, it was the best show we love this. And I'm like, I can't go anywhere now where somebody hasn't been on the cruise. We had a couple that came back on to that were here in November and did the cruise again.
Yeah, and
so that says a lot about Viking and a lot about what my team is doing.
Where your team gets to touch, and then through your show you get to touch people. So you get people that recognize your voice. I had let's see, Big Daddy's Soul Food in Chula, Mississippi. OJ called me the other day. Some guy from North Mississippi had heard me talk about his restaurant on the show and passed through Chula, Mississippi just to get some barbecue. I just thought that was really cool. Hey, listen, we're not going to have time now, but we'll come back. For people who don't know the name Drew Pullian or Tyler Tisdale, look them up. You'll be glad you did. Steve's working with them. They're doing some amazing music. Listen, Steve, have a great one, my friend.
You're the best. I love you, pal. Thank you for having me.
Good luck with the festival. Good luck with the festival this weekend. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.